welcome to another episode of On Deck with Big 12 Studios. I'm Casey Honigbaum, and I'm joined by the most recent Golden Spikes Player of the Week, the Big 12 Player of the Week. He had 3 homers and 10 RBIs, not in a weekend, in one game. This was this past Saturday against Kansas. It's Kerrington Cross, the infielder from Cincinnati. Kerrington, thank you so much for taking the time to join us this week.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Yeah, we are excited to talk. I don't think it's a surprise that you've been one of the hottest hitters in the country. Obviously, you know what I just read off there. But let's start. We'll start there. You're hitting over 400 right now, 11 homers. I want to ask you specifically, what has your approach been over this, well, I mean, you could talk about over the entire season, but specifically over these, this recent hot stretch that you've had.
Yeah, we kind of have like a approach team wide. It's kind of just like what pitch you do damage on. So up
Mm,
until 2 strikes, I'm obviously looking for something I can hit hard. And
yeah.
let's say I get fooled by a pitch, I'm going to swing through it because my whole goal is to do damage. So I'm just
Okay.
hunting the right pitch, and then if I get to 2 strikes, I know I'm still going to be a tough out. I'm just going to move the ball. I'm going to find holes. I'm gonna beat the ball to first. So as far as approach, it's just can I do damage on that pitch? And if not, I can live another day and then get another one. A pitcher's not going to make 3 perfect pitches in a row, and if they do, tip of the cap, they did it. But I'm just looking for my pitch.
I like that a lot. It's interesting because so the team wide approach, if I'm getting this correct, is almost you're okay with swinging through a pitch that's not your pitch. So is it kind of that you're going up to each at bat looking for, like, I know whether it's based on the pitcher, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it's like, okay, I know the pitcher has this pitch that I can do damage on, or is it just you're looking for a particular pitch no matter the pitcher?
I don't think it really matters the pitcher. It's not
Okay.
like we're looking for a specific pitch. It's more like a zone. So if it's in
Okay.
my zone, then I'm gonna do damage. And if I get fooled by a pitch, then I swing through it. So what? I'm gonna do the same thing the next pitch and have a clear head. And I think I've just been really dialed into that and been able to get those right pitches.
I like that. Yeah, if you swing through a pitch, that's baseball, whatever. What are you going to do? Well, speaking of the team, you talked about your team-wide approach. What's your team's approach been recently? You guys have been hot lately. You've won 4 in a row, and it's exciting because a lot of the previews for the round of 64 have you guys squarely in the mix. What has been, if there has been, what's been the secret to the success lately? Has it just been, whether it's hitting, whatever it is, sticking with that approach? What has that looked like inside the clubhouse and on the field recently?
Yeah, I think it's just following our kind of 10 games. It's kind of like an acronym, but like the main ones are making it hard to score, which is the defense, pitchers limiting free pass, doing their job, defense behind them, making plays before them. And then some other things are doing damage is one of them. It's our hitting approach, like doing what we do. And then another thing is just like having grit and playing fast. We probably have the best stolen base conversion percent in the country. I want to say close to it, probably top 10 at the bare minimum. Um, but yeah, like we do everything fast, we do everything confident. We're not going to do it if we don't think we can succeed at it. So just stuff like that, and then being gritty is another big one. Like obviously the Kansas game where I had a good game, it could have went either way. I mean, they came out in the ninth and tied the game up when everyone thought we had it in the bag, and so like just games like that where you're expected to win and then adversity hits, and then we have just been able to overcome that recently. And I think that's a real tough ball club to be is when we can do that.
Yeah, that what allows you, do you think, to be able to do that? Because it makes for a tough opponent if you're able to overcome adversity. And like you mentioned the word grit in particular. Um, what do you think allows you guys to be that kind of a gritty ball club?
It's just trusting what we do. Instead of like panicking, like we know what we did leading up to that moment got us there. So like we were
Yeah.
winning the whole time, or it was a close game the whole time. Like whatever we were doing, it still worked. So just because something went bad does not mean we have to panic and change. And I think that's kind of what's cool about this team is we trust everything we do and we believe in it. So there's no need to panic. So that's what kind of brings out the grit because, like, man, they're still grinding these ABs. They're not giving up, but it's really not anything different than it's what we do.
to go back to you. They put out positional rankings on D1Baseball.com every week, and they've got you currently ranked right now as the number one third baseman in the country. Does that does that mean anything to you? I mean, obviously you're focused on, I'm sure, on team success and all that, but it's got to feel good, being recognized as one of the better players at your position, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was really funny because I was asleep on the bus because we were driving from Tulsa to or TCU, and I woke up and they're like, "Good morning, number one." I was like really confused, but no, I don't think too much about it. I used to like
Yeah.
me and my friends used to make jokes about it. I got an old teammate named Sean Springer up in Cleveland. I hope he sees this. But the beginning of the year, I was 15, and he like commented like, accidentally put a five behind that one, like this is wrong, and like kind of just stuff like that. I think it's like really funny, but I don't think too much into it. If they want to put me number one, I guess I'm number one. But I'm just a veteran guy doing what's kind of like expected of me right now, being locked in the whole time, leading guys. So I'm not gonna hone too much on being number one. But
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of being locked in, can you take us through that game? You were, if I'm not mistaken, that double digit RBI, the total bases you had in that game, that broke a 22-year-old record. In that game, 14 total bases, the 10 RBIs, obviously the three homers. Can you take us through a game like that where you're that locked in at the plate? Is it something as simple as you're just seeing the ball like a cantaloupe and it's kind of like, everything is slowed down, that kind of a thing? Or what's the, is it that it's just your mindset is super simplified, that approach that you were talking about earlier? Can you kind of take us through that game a little bit?
at first, it wasn't like a crazy game. I mean, I hit my leadoff one, or not my leadoff, but first inning home run, and then second inning I hit a ball really hard, but the center fielder made an unreal play. I think it was number seven on top 10. And then the third AB I struck out. So like it wasn't like I was seeing the ball crazy well. Like it was just another day. It was just the fact that I didn't really panic. And then second or fourth AB was 3-1 count. He hung a slider. I just saw it well and drove in a run. Next one, it was a tough AB. I haven't swung at like a couple balls. I just kind of got the two strikes and then competed and then got a base hit through the right side. And then the next two ABs, fastball right down the middle, it's a mistake. And then the next one was also two strikes. So it's not that I was seeing the ball like crazy. It was just I was doing what we do is getting the mistake early, and then with two strikes, I'm gonna battle, and I happen to hit one out with two strikes. So it could have went anyway. I could have been 1 for 7 with a couple strikeouts, like depending how if I got a cloudy mind after my third AB, it could have easily went downhill. But it's just being able to do the same thing over and over again, and then I think that's what kind of led to my success that day because I didn't really panic. I kind of just kept doing what I was doing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that. I want to ask you, kind of getting a little personal here. You're from Honolulu. What made you choose Cincinnati? I find that fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, I was only in Honolulu for the first 3 years of my life, probably.
Okay, okay, gotcha.
My siblings can talk more about it because they actually like kind of lived their childhood there. But I
Right.
grew up in West Side of Indianapolis, but Cincinnati was my first offer, and then I got a couple other like American schools, Xavier, IU, and kind of stuff like
Yeah.
that. Cincinnati was like the first, so I kind of just fell in love with them right away, even with a different staff. The city was great, the university was great, and then even on my unofficial visit, like he
Yeah.
was just like, "You want to do this?" I was like, "Yeah." So then the whole car ride home, my mom was like, "Why didn't you talk to me about it?" I was like, just kind of, I was kind of ready.
I love that. What about the transition? Because obviously you've been at Cincinnati long enough to see them transition into the Big 12 conference. What
Yeah.
was that like as a player playing in two different conferences? And, to kind of add on to that, have you noticed a difference in whether it's the strength of the opponents, the strength of the pitching that you're seeing, the type of stuff you're seeing? Have you noticed that going from conference to conference?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely notice like top to bottom, there's definitely a bigger jump from the
Yeah,
American to Big, but there at the same time there are still elite dudes in that conference. So
right.
like you're even seeing now a lot of transfer schools or these guys from lower name schools, but they're elite athletes, elite baseball players, and then they succeed at the next level too. I think the biggest jump is the top to bottom, how everybody's at that level. And I would say the biggest jump besides that is probably pitching. Like obviously ECU had some pretty good dudes. They had Savage
Yeah,
who got last year, who I faced a couple times. They had who else? They had Gavin Williams my
I
freshman
was
year.
gonna ask if you were there for Gavin Williams at all. Yeah.
I did not play against him, but I was
Okay.
in college when that happened. That was my
Okay.
redshirt. But like just guys like that, like they had dudes. It's just now, especially with transfer portal NIL, a lot of those big name dudes are leaving there to go to these SEC Big 12 schools. As
Yeah.
far as that, I mean, not crazy jumps. It's just like overall team skill sets. I think that's the biggest thing. But at the end of the day, anyone can win a baseball game. So you can't
It's a
overlook those small teams. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. You mentioned it and I wanted to touch on it a little bit, but you mentioned your redshirt year. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, was that year before that would have been like the COVID year of your that would have been your was that your senior year of high school?
Yeah. Senior year of high school got canceled. Yeah.
So you kind of had two like back-to-back years of almost sitting on the sidelines watching baseball instead of playing.
Yeah.
How does that, I mean, how do you wrap your mind around that? And how are you able to sort of get through that and then, hit the ground running and have success throughout your career like you're continuing to have now?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be touching the freshmen coming in or anything, but I
Yeah.
mean, it was not easy by any means. I played summer ball that COVID year, so post COVID, and I played against legit college guys. So I played with Henry Davis,
Oh,
Colin Rushing, Tommy Summer, a bunch of other big names, Craig Yoho, who just got called up. But like, I went from no high school season to summer ball on that, and I think I batted like probably like .08 with like 40 strikeouts, and I was like, man, like what am I gonna do? And then you come in and all these seniors are back, and you're not playing, you're not getting reps, and you're just like, man, like because you go from being like the dude in high school, and then you go to
right,
college, you're just like bottom of the pack, like you're
right,
just, it's just not expected of you to play. So like when guys come in and they start pressing because they're not the dude anymore, and they just decide to like transfer out, I just think it's just not something I would do. I feel like whenever you buy into a program and a team, like if you don't play, it's more like how am I gonna get in the spot to play? So that's kind of what I did. I kind of took that as a challenge and
mm,
went in the weight room, started grinding that. Did weight room in the summer on campus versus going home. I played in a summer league, and then I kind of had good success on the Cincinnati team, and then that built into my sophomore year, and even my redshirt freshman year, aka sophomore year, I was told in the fall I wasn't going to travel. So like
mm,
obviously I had the success, and then I was told again, and then I was like, okay, I'm just going to use that to like fuel me. And then over the winter, I just kind of just worked at it, and then we came back. I kind of was like lights out hitting wise, so they had no choice but to put me in. And then ever since that moment, I really haven't came off the field. But it's kind of
yeah.
just like a story depression. Like if you're not playing, it's not because like you don't have the ability to. You're just not there yet.
Yeah, right. It's almost like there's a reason you're at that school to begin with. And,
Yeah.
it's just a matter of, but I think that's fascinating because I mean, you've mentioned it a little bit. And everybody who follows any college sport sees it that the transfer portal is such a massive part of sports now. And it's almost easier if you're not getting the playing time you want to just be like, well, I'm going to go find somewhere where I can play. And in certain
Yeah.
instances that can work. But I think it's really cool that you were able to keep grinding it out at one program and finally break through. I want to ask about that because was there was there one thing in your game that you think, or maybe whether it was in the weight room, kind of like you mentioned, whether it was a certain something with your hitting, whatever it might be. What was it, or what was the one breakthrough that you think finally led you to get on the field? And like you said, now you haven't left the field since then. If there is one thing, I guess that's kind of a loaded question, but
Um, I don't know how to phrase this without sounding horrible, but it's like I don't want to say I stopped caring, but I stopped pressing
sure.
myself.
Yeah.
So like whenever I had a bad day, I would obviously watch film and like see it. And if it was just a physical mistake, I kind of was able to drop it a little bit easier than I used to. But if it was mental, that's when I kind of beat myself up still
Sure.
because I feel like that side of the game, I should never make mistakes on that.
Hmm.
But like when it was physical, I stopped pressing. I stopped trying to change. Like I used to panic and like change my swing, think I had to do something. But like I was talking about earlier, I just started trusting that. And then once Coach B came in and we developed like a hitting process and hitting plan, hitting like mental approach, like all this other stuff,
Yeah.
that's when the numbers really started to fly. So I hit okay my freshman year, I hit better than expectations. Sophomore year, I kind of slumped, but like it was decent compared to not playing. Like they told me I wasn't going to play. And then the new coaching staff came in and then we built like this plan. And then from there, the numbers took off. So I kind of took the stress off me and just played the game that's supposed to be played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That makes sense. That absolutely makes sense. And I'm guessing that that's kind of, a similar team mindset that you guys have. And um, I think, as we come down the final, 2 weeks of the regular season here, looking ahead to, the conference tournament and then, maybe a step forward to the national tournament. How do you build off of the recent success that you guys have? And I guess, you know, because you kind of said not get too high, not get too low, that sort of a thing. But what does the Cincinnati Bearcats baseball team have to do to continue, this recent stretch of success that you guys have had?
Yeah, I mean, just it's gonna sound corny, but keep doing what we're doing. Play
Yeah,
fast. If we can continue to play fast, aggressive, but not overly aggressive and get out of hand, I mean, we're just the team no one wants to play. You can see it in Kansas. Even we probably I don't know how many bunts we did, but
yeah,
always in our repertoire. But like we didn't do it an incredible amount against Kansas. Like we outslugged Kansas at their own facility. So like we have that in our back pocket, but we also do the other things well too. So as long as we keep doing what we're doing and playing fast, we don't need to change or do anything. We just got to learn from our small mistakes and then build from our what we've done good and just keep growing every single game.
yeah, yeah. Awesome, awesome. Two quick hitters for you, a couple fun ones before I let you go. I want to know what kind of music you listen to get you hyped before games. If there's a genre or a couple artists you want to throw at me, go ahead. What do you got?
I mean, I like EDM, but not like too EDM.
Oh,
So like,
okay.
I guess some John Summit's not bad. Some
Yeah,
Tiesto. At the same time, our bus is kind of energetic, so I don't really have the headphones in all the time. I kind of let them take over on aux, and we'll play
nice.
some like throwback rap, so stuff like that. But as far as like if I'm in the car, I'm more of like a house musicish guy, pop guy. So like
Nice.
Quinn's up my alley.
Yep.
Even some Dominic Fike, just like stuff like that, but nothing
I've
crazy.
been on I've been on a Dominic fight kick lately, so I like that. That's a good pull there. I want to ask, is there a pregame meal that's your go-to? Are you a superstitious guy with that sort of thing, or is it kind of just whatever's there?
Yeah, whatever they feed us.
Yeah.
It's like 90% subs, a lot
Okay.
cold subs. That's typically what's served. But I'll always have an energy drink before. And then
Yeah.
if we play at home, I have a place that me and my parents and my girlfriend go to almost every time. Or it's
Oh,
between
nice.
two, but
Yeah.
nothing pre-game superstitious now.
Okay. No Skyline chili before games for I know
Yeah.
that's
Skyline's like a once a month thing, but it's like
okay.
really good once a month.
Yeah. I've never had it. So like I've heard it's like you're two ends of the spectrum. People hate it, people love it. So it sounds like you're on the
Yeah,
love it end, but sporadically.
I was on the hate it end for a while
Oh,
because when I think of chili, I think of like a cup of chili.
yeah,
But my
right, right.
first in Cincinnati, I just got a cup of Skyline chili, and it's just not good chili. So I didn't like it. But when you get the other stuff and you're like, oh, it's not really chili, it's like a topping, then you start to enjoy it a little bit.
Interesting. Okay. All right. I like that. Last question. Um, if you have one, because there's a solid chance the way you're playing, someone might be, naming you in this question not too long in a couple years, but who is the big leaguer that you look up to, if there is one? Do you think that there's someone, whether it's maybe you modeled your game after them growing up, or even just now you still like watching them play to pick things up? Who's that for you?
Yeah, I've been asked this a lot recently, actually, but I don't really have anyone. I don't watch too much MLB. Like I
Oh,
enjoy
okay.
it, but not crazy. Like I have a favorite team, which is the Cubs, but at the same time, I'm not the guy to turn it on and watch. But I used to love watching Derek Jeter. That's why wear number two. But like, if you were to
Okay.
ask me if my swing is anything like it, it's not even
No,
close.
okay.
I
Right.
don't. I don't even play shortstop anymore. So it's just like there's not anyone like I like want to be
Sure.
like. But there's like guys I pick and choose from. Like Like I like Judge's swing, but I also don't like his swing. So I'll like pick things from multiple people, and then that just forms me. So like I just do
Yeah.
me.
No, I like that. That's great. I mean, it's hard to judge, especially like what he's 6'10". You can't really pick things from hit like unless you're 6'10" and a monster. But no, that's fantastic. So those are all the questions I have for you. I really appreciate you taking the time. And if people want to find more stuff that we do with baseball on Big 12 Studios, you could find it on the Big 12 Conference's YouTube channel and all your social media platforms at Big 12 Studios. But Carrington, this was awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time and sitting down with us right before your weekend series here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I love your name, by the way. It's my nickname and my brother's name. So
Is it really?
yeah, Casey.
No way. Well, yeah, right. There you go. Yeah, Kerrington Cross. All right, there we go.